So this video is primarily for Charles, the new owner of the M51 that I built. And so the first thing I'm going to do is we have our little bag of accessories here. It has a 50 cal in it and the two antennas. It'll also have the apple for the IR battling. And on the bottom of the apple, you're going to see there's a rounded part on the top here. When you open the hatch up here, I'm going to show you this. When you open the hatch up here, you're going to see that there's the rounded part toward the front. So when this goes in, the rounded part on the apple has to be lined up with the rounded part on the front. So that just pops right in there, and then the IR is good to go. Now, to get into the tank, the best way to do this is really going to be hard because I'm filming, obviously, and holding the camera. But basically, it's magnetic. You remove the front camo net, which covers the seam where the upper and the lower connect, and you simply use the fenders, and that'll pop up. Inside, you're going to see a gobbledygook of wires, as usual. And I've got a battery in here now, the one I sent you the link to. So that's how it's connected. It just connects on here. And everything else is all wired up, and it's good to go. So I'm going to put this back on the stand. Or try to. And I'm going to put the tank back together. So once you have the battery in, when you push this back down, you can run your back finger on both sides, and you can feel when the lower and the upper actually mesh together properly. And it's flush. And that means that everything is connected well. Now, the front hatches, let me get this back to a better angle here. The front hatches, I always, when I turn off the tank, you'll see it's always off-centered. Reason for this is that the hatches contain the on and off power switches and the volume control. So on the right-hand side is actually the power switch. You can flip that on once you have the battery installed. And the right-hand side has a volume control. I've got it turned up all the way, so I don't really need to show you that. And the hatch just pops back on like that, because the hinges on these these old Mado uppers, the hinges just fail pretty much as soon as you start working with them. So I just paint them up and touch them up, and I mean, you really can't tell that hinge doesn't work. It just comes right off. And then the camo net just sits tucked up underneath the machine gun on there like that. Now, put this back up, get it lined up properly. So we have the tank on. The radio's already been bound. Sometimes when you turn, I'm going to turn this radio off for a second. Sometimes you'll find that it'll give you a warning and say that all the controls need to be in the upright position. So, and then this screen will come on. That shows you everything's good. You've got the transmitter battery power. You've got the receiver battery power. So, to give you the left stick is your turret control. Go to the right, go to the left, and it rotates. So that's pretty straightforward. And you can really use stick control to control the speed of the rotation. As you can see it rotating slow in the background. I'm just barely touching the stick to that side. So for elevation, It's up and down, this control. And machine gun is the roller switch up on the left here. So you have two machine guns, which basically represent the Hall machine gun and the upper. And you'll see when you fire the Hall machine gun, it does light up. It's hard to see when I've got the whole camera, but it does light up. Shows you light. And then the main gunfire is again this roller switch, and push that, and you can see it fire. There's a delay to reload, so it doesn't fire like a machine gun, but you can see it going there. Now, for engine startup, you pull this switch all the way down. And this does have the correct board in it now too. Doesn't have the old Firefly one that I did in the other videos. So once you have the motor started like that, if you want, you can also pull this switch down to the bottom and the headlights will come on. You don't have to have the motor started, but you do have to have this switch. You can play with them. Turns the lights on and off. And it's got a nice tail lights on it too. Now, I'm going to set this up so that I can show you how to drive. But in the meantime, I'll put this switch all the way back up. And I'm going to engage the clutch, which is this switch pushed all the way to the top. And you can actually hear it engage. And now I'm just going to set the tank up so it can actually rotate. It's got a really nice... with that upgrade speaker in there, it's quite loud and it's got a nice rumble to it, so it's pretty cool. All right, so again, your driving is all on the right stick. Push it straight forward, both tracks run, pull it back, goes in reverse, over to the left. Outside track will rotate, do the opposite one, and it rotates. It runs quite nice. You saw it run in the other videos. So that's pretty much everything that's on here. This is, if there was a smoker, you can turn the smoker on and off, like that, on here. This switch is dead, it does nothing. That's about it. The only other thing, if you want to look at, you can set up your endpoints. So you hold that down for 2 seconds till it unlocks. See if I can get it unlocked here. I'm trying to do this from looking behind the camera. Get all my switches up here. Anyway, let me see if I can set this up. So I'm going to shut again, rotate your cannon off center, pull the hatch up, turn the tank off like that. We'll just try it this way here. There's lots of settings on here. It's a really good radio. And there we go. Now it's unlocked. You can set things like the endpoints by channel. So here's all your channels. You know, if you can, and to check what does what, you just swipe to the side. Let's see if I can get it to go. sorry, got to go all the way back to the first screen. Swipe to the side a couple times, and it'll give you the channel readouts. So, you know, it's when you hit the different switches, it shows you which one does what. So going back to swipe it back, endpoints here, it shows you by channel there. So you can alter it so that there's a maximum forward or back motion, turret rotation. You can set all that. It's really nice. It's pretty easy to do. You just click on the number and you can change the numbers on there, you know, going up and down, you know, to take it down. Channel 1 is basically the left and right turning ability. So, you know, you set it at 60, you say yes, check the check mark, and then it'll stay at 60. I'm not going to set them. I'm going to leave it at 100 for you. But yeah, so I like to do it on, particularly on some of the heavier old World War II tanks, like my Churchill. That's actually set at 40% to give it proper accurate speed. So yeah, I mean, you can do that. And again, that lets you set for speed, for turning. It'll let you set for turret rotation. Anything where the channel is involved, you can set that. So one of the nice features that this has too is if you have your tank on, turn it back on here, and you're all done, to turn the radio off, you press the two power buttons simultaneously. It'll give you a warning that your tank is still on, which is a good feature. So you say, okay, turn your tank off, press the two buttons simultaneously, and the radio turns off. So that's about it. It's pretty simple setup. That's one of the reasons why I love Clark boards. They just, especially with this new S-Bus, well, it's a couple years old, but the S-Bus, when you're running with the S-Bus, it's so simple to work with this radio. And that's about it. So any questions, of course, send me a PM. Thanks.